Hi, it's Vincent with 402 Content Marketing, and I just found out that I'm going to be the first one to do a Columbus Champion video review. So I quickly put on a nice shirt, didn't quite shave, but that's not what it's about. It's about Columbus Champions. And so um, I'm going to be able to share this with you. And if you are unfamiliar with Columbus Champions, let me take just a minute to point out what this is. So this publication is a local publication that each edition features one local person that's doing great things in our community. It's a fairly easy read, filled with beautiful pictures and, of course, some sponsors now. But it's a beautiful read featuring this person. And sometimes you know the person, sometimes you don't know the person. And most of the time, when you read these stories, you find out something about the person that you may have not known. So, like I said, it comes out the first and the third Wednesday of each month. It is free to pick up around town. And you can also read it online at 402content.com/champions. So I showed you Ken Curry, but that's not the one we're going to focus on today, and we're not going to review that one today. So let's go pick one. I've got them right over here. Okay, I'm back. And as you can see, I chose Bryan Chochon, our number one champion, the first champion that publication that we did, and the first feature was on Bryan. So many know Bryan from being the chief financial officer and vice president of Great Plains State Bank, but his job title and career are hardly what defines him. Selflessness and adventurousness are two of the most defining qualities, both he will credit from his parents and his family. So before we go any further, I think it's important that I say thank you to Bryan because Bryan was our first champion, and there really was no publication for him to look at. It was just a concept. We wanted to share these stories and talk to these people, and Bryan had to trust us, and he did trust us. And most every champion we speak to actually says that, hey, I don't deserve it. I don't think maybe other people deserve it more than I do, or I don't want to be in the limelight, or just I don't do it for the spotlight. And we get that, and I appreciate their humbleness and their commitment to our community. But the publication is designed to bring people together, to bring our community together and hear these positive stories about these people who are doing positive things in our community. So, I just appreciate the fact that Bryan said, okay, I'll do it. I'll trust you to tell the story. And I got to tell you, you got to hear this. Never gone. Chochon's late grandfather fuels his generous spirit. Oddly enough, longtime Columbus resident and successful businessman Bryan Chochon discovered the true meaning of life while at a funeral, more specifically, his late grandfather's funeral back in August of 2008. So I don't want to read the whole story to you, but I got to tell you, that's only like the first 3 or 4 paragraphs. Um, Bryan really opened up and shared about his grandfather. Rick Chochon was quoted as saying, it hurt Bryan and his brothers deeply when their grandfather died. His grandfather was only 67 years old when he passed away unexpectedly. So just a lot there that impacted Bryan as he's growing up. He does talk about the whole reason he got into banking to begin with. He talked about his career in banking just briefly, but he also talked about when he was a boy, he had all these aspirations. He wanted to be a park ranger at one point. He wanted to be a professional football player at one point. I will tell you, he did go on to college and played football in college, and he did get to play with his brother in football in college as well. So I think that's big stuff. Just great stories to share. Bryan does talk about his wife, Erica, that he married in September of 2023. He said, Erica is just an amazing human being, he said of his wife, who is the Regional Director of Community and Workforce Education at Central Community College, Columbus. So just wonderful things there that he's sharing about his wife. Here's a picture of them. So one of the things that I think really makes these stories impactful is that they're not your traditional stories that you think they might be. And it really requires a author who's going to listen to the champion and hear their stories and kind of put this all together. And so we have some wonderful writers on Columbus Champions. And I want to end by just sharing this last part of this story. I'm going to read it verbatim. I don't want to mess this up because I think it really sums it up well. It was evident Chochon takes great pride in sharing stories about his late grandfather, as he would often laugh and sometimes choke up a bit as he recalled more memories. He's not shy in crediting his grandparents and parents for instilling his drive to help others. But Chochon doesn't want accolades or attention, at least not anytime soon. My definition of success is having a gym full of people at my funeral like my grandfather, he said. My grandfather made an impact on people. If more people were like that and cared about how they treated each other and tried to be positive, we would be better off. I think that really is a great summary there. So that is our video review of Columbus Champion edition number 1. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's piqued your interest. Remember, on the first and third Wednesday of each month, we have champions come out. A new champion comes out. So I hope you'll find a location to pick those up. I'll put those right there for you. That's just some of the locations you can get it. And I hope you'll become one of our regular readers. Enjoy.